Yay.
I love it. Hello, guys. We are live. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here watching the Digital Marketing Show. My name is m6xoko0fayd1, and my team and I, we help business owners and course creators to increase their sales by getting them qualified leads on autopilot. You can get a free strategy session with me. Just send me a DM. Cool. So today, in the marketing show, we have Jasmine Poosh. I'm so excited to have you here. How are you doing today?
I am good. How are you?
Pretty good. We had like a few little chats here and there, but so good to be live, to have you here in the show. It's official.
Yeah, face to face is always the best.
Absolutely. All right. So tell us a little bit about you. Like, how did everything get started? What do you do?
Well, it kind of came to me by fluke to go the route of being, being a coach. It's not something I ever envisioned myself doing, but I started up my business last July because I went on stress leave and didn't want to go back to the regular 9 to 5 grind, and was like, I need to figure out something on my own and figure out something to do from a laptop. So I position myself as a holistic mindset coach, and I help women heal their anxiety so they can finally live life with confidence and show up happy and go after their dreams.
Oh, that's so cool. I've been checking out like your stories, and you've been helping quite a lot of people with tips that you give them daily, and sharing a little bit of like the struggles that they go through. So it's pretty cool. So what sort of clients you work with? Is it like mainly females?
Yeah, so all my clients right now are females, and it ranges anywhere from age 18 all the way up to age 30.
Awesome, cool. And what sort of problem do you solve for them?
So mainly like rewiring the brain. Like when it comes to anxiety, you become so habitually conditioned to thinking the same way, having the same routines, having the same beliefs and feelings. So we really work on rewiring that and choosing something different and understanding who you are. Because when you have anxiety, you're like, I am anxiety. I can't do these things. So it's getting crystal clear on the woman that you dream of becoming and taking action steps to become that version.
I love it. Yeah, it's super cool. So you mentioned that you just started like helping people. Like, is it usually from the fun, from like how does it work in general? Like, and how just walk me through the process. I'd love to know a little bit more.
So I have my signature program is called Mindset Magic,
Cool.
which is a 12-week one-on-one coaching program. So
Nice.
every week I meet with like the client for 1 hour, and then we have a session and we go through a specific topic that we're going to work through that day. And it involves a lot of crying, a lot of releasing things, a lot of positive self-talk, and just getting in tune with yourself. So we do a lot of little mini activities that we go through, and whatever we don't complete in session, I'll also send off and have some homework for them to do. And then my favorite thing that we do is we come up with 3 specific activities. So
Okay.
one fun-tivity, one relax-tivity, and one challenge-tivity that they have to complete between now and our next session, just to have fun with it, because healing is not a linear journey. It's like a journey like this. So definitely finding
I
that
agree.
balance.
Yeah, I agree. This I mentioned to you before. I just hired a mindset coach, and it's been really interesting to say the least. Like, he's helping the team essentially. Like, and there was quite a powerful transformation. There was quite a lot of stuff that um, we were not aware of. Things that sometimes you're going through a particular issue and you try to solve that issue, but sometimes there's something else outside of that that could be the solution. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to actually even explain, but what I'm trying to say is when you have someone from outside that can actually put a little bit of perspective of what's happening and see the whole picture, it's a lot easier for them to be able to help you out. So I think like coaching is absolutely amazing, and like seriously, it's been an amazing journey. So yeah, I think like people should definitely get a coach, someone to help them out, and yeah, I think it's great. So with the stuff that you do you do a lot of meditation as well? Um, what's what's your background in terms of the stuff that you've been doing? Like, is it NLP? Is it more meditation? Like, do you have your own spin on it? Like, just to have an idea, because I think every coach has got like a different um, go-to, or like some of them are more spiritual. To be honest, I think like at the end of the day, kind of all connects. Like, it's just a different way to see it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And all depends on your journey too. Like I'm a certified holistic health coach. So, but I didn't identify with health coaching because I was like, well, when I'm working mentally with anxiety, it just makes more sense to identify as a mindset coach. But my own personal journey, like I hired my own coaches going through my own process of healing anxiety. So a lot of it is inner work is the best way to describe it, of like tuning inwards and feeling my own emotions and trying to figure out where they're coming from and doing like inner child work. As well as just, yeah, doing my own visualizations is huge, and having fun, like, dancing and being in tune with my body and having self-love and self-care practices were really huge in the healing journey. And that's a huge emphasis I have with my clients. Like I have three main pillars, which is mindset, self-love, and self-care, because somehow along the way, we stop taking care of ourselves, like mentally, physically, and emotionally. So learning how to essentially reparent ourselves and to take care of ourselves, and just to understand that we are so much more than just our body, right? Like learning to love our bodies and to take care of ourselves and to essentially reinstall a new programming, right? Because we're so busy running on this old program of, if you were bullied or you had, crappy parents growing up, or you had a situation where you failed, and then all of a sudden you get all these coping mechanisms, and then usually happen when you're a child or in your teenage years, and you become an adult and you have all these coping mechanisms that no longer serve you. So you have to learn to shed those and develop new ones.
Yeah, cool. And I think a lot of that is balance as well, isn't it? Because it's so easy to start working, for example, and just get caught up on the stress of work and all that stuff. So I remember my first business. Like I started working and I was working nonstop, and I wasn't really eating well. I wasn't exercising. I wasn't meditating, and there was quite a lot of stuff that didn't really allow me to progress, right? So nowadays, I've got my partner, and she's such a good influence in my life. You know what I mean? We're the complete opposite, like in terms of habits and all that stuff, and it's fascinating. But I was all over the place. I never really liked like habits and all that stuff. And she's like, oh no, habits are important. You gotta eat well. We gotta exercise daily, all that stuff. I was like, oh, okay. And like living together, we ended up just doing the good things, right? And I remember like when we were together and we had the sale, I'm like, all right, cool, let's pop a bottle of champagne. She's like, no, let's get like a smoothie juice or something, like something healthy. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I still need to get used to that idea, but it's interesting, right? Like it's and that's the thing. It's like it becomes addictive. Like once you start looking after yourself and eating well, and it's so good, and there's only good benefits to it, really. Yeah. So that's kind of stuff that you do as well with your clients, I guess, right? Like,
yeah. It's baby, right? It's baby steps. It's finding that balance of, because I found too in my own journey, like I would go from here and then I'd go all the way from over here, and I'd burn out because I didn't take the baby steps to create sustainable lifestyle changes, right? So I do them in increments with my client. Like we initially come up with like a morning routine and a nighttime routine. And like, that's it. I'm not going to, go through your family drama and your friend drama and your work drama. It's like, what can we do, with you? What do you want in the morning? What do you want in the evening? And it all comes down to giving that power to the client. Me being that guide and being like, hey, these are things I want to set in place for you, but you get to decide. You get to make the choice of what that's going to look like for you. So then they have a more empowered state, right? It's like, well, I still get to choose. Like, you're not telling me what to do. Like, I still get to choose what's going to be best for me, and play that out. Like, I had my clients, is so funny. None of them have good sleeping patterns. All of them will go to bed super late, and then they wake up super late the next day.
Yeah.
And then they feel super shitty because they're like, I slept away my whole entire day. Like, I didn't get things done. So yeah, we set bedtimes for them. We set things that they're going to do in the morning to make them feel good, things that they do in the evening. And they're like, I never realized like how good it felt to actually slow down and to like create the energy that I needed in the morning. And it's something as simple as that, right? As simple
Absolutely.
as like prioritizing sleep. And then later on down the road, like we go over like nutrition and things like that there. But right now it's like, you know, come up with some sustainable lifestyle habits. And myself included, for the longest time, I was like, everything in my life's going great. I don't need sleep. And I'd go to bed at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd wake up at like 8 the next day, and I'd wonder why like I was so tired.
Yeah.
And it's like, Jasmine, because you're not sleeping. Like, you need sleep. You're not a superwoman here. So yeah,
it's fascinating. I was the same. Like when I first started, and nowadays, I probably go to bed like 9 o'clock, and then I wake up 5:30. Like, depends on the day. Do you know what I mean? But like, I'm like energized and like ready to go and rock and get stuff done. It's it's so cool. I absolutely love it. So, what sort of objections your clients usually have, like, in terms of like, oh, I don't know if it's going to work for me, or what sort of objections they might actually have before they start working with you?
So yeah, usually like a lot of the women that I work with, they're so used to not following through on commitments with themselves. So they're like, I like the one client, she told me, she's like, honestly, before we work together, I was like, I'm too far gone. She can't help me. Like, I'm too far gone. There's nothing she can do. Right. So not believing in themselves to follow through on the commitment, not wanting to make the financial investment, which I think is pretty common across anyone. And just not thinking that they'll have the time like to do it and to commit to themselves. And it's just coaching them and reminding them that, hey, it's up to you. Like, it's your choice to choose you. And always remind them of the consequences of staying the same, right? Of like, okay, if you continue on in this super like anxious state, what's your life going to look like? Okay, if you make changes, what's your life going to look like? Which one do you want to choose?
Yeah.
Like, you get that choice in life, right? And just reminding people that like it's your choice. Like, you either choose anxiety and depression or you choose happiness and joy. Like, you can't have both.
Yeah.
Right? So letting them know like it's your choice, but those are huge objections, is usually the whole, I don't think I can follow through. Or they're like, oh, I'm so excited, and then you get ghosted. Then they're like freaking out. They're like, oh my God, like I committed to myself. I can't do this. And it's just like, no, like I'm here, and I'm back in the DMs, or I'm back like messaging them and being like, like I'm here for you. Like, how was your week? And because with anxiety and anyone who has just like not strong mental game, that ego kicks in, and it's like, no, you don't need to do this. You're fine. That's outside your comfort zone. You can't do it. You're not ready. Wait. So yeah, so that's usually the mindset beforehand, but it's like, we'll change that. Like, we'll change that. Like, that's my guarantee. That is my guarantee 100%. So
that's super cool. And that's the thing, hey, like it's the ego is like it can trap you in so many different ways, and it's so bad because you don't even see it coming, right? You just being yourself, doing your thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, nah, I got this. I don't need that, And the thing is, it's like, if you've been doing the same thing and you've been getting the same results, it's just going to be the trend, isn't it? Like, nothing's going to change. But if you break the pattern and do something new or try something new, you're going to get different results, right? And that's the beauty about hiring someone to help you out, because they're going to really be able to see what you're doing and analyze what you're doing and kind of give you ideas and suggestions, and then you can improve from there. So I find it's fascinating. It's pretty cool. So what sort of within like your industry and all that stuff, like what sort of like trends you see coming? Because there's quite a lot of stuff happening, like this is just like right now, for example, we've got the social media, all that stuff. So I think it affects like deeply, like, you know, how people react to things, and it just changed the whole like world, I guess, you know, because like now you're constantly like checking your phones and all that stuff. So what sort of trends you see coming in terms of what what they can do to improve themselves, and like how you can help them, and do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of like people are starting to come to realize the negative effects of social media. So being really cautious of who they're following and, unfollowing a lot of, the negative accounts. Like I tell people, like if an account makes you compare yourself or make you feel less than what you are, unfollow them. I don't care if it's someone who's an influencer or someone who's your friend. If you're looking at this photo and you're like, fuck, like I wish I looked like her. I wish I had her life. Unfollow.
Go
You
on, yeah.
don't need that. And as for like the coaching industry trend, I find us as a whole, as a community, are really coming together and really understanding like my cup of success doesn't take away from your cup of success.
Yeah.
And we need to be in this together, right? So I think you're going to see a lot more collaborations happen. You're going to see a lot more live events. In the coaching, I think there's going to be a lot more group coaching programs because a lot of people are realizing like, hey, fuck, like I can't do this. Like I can't do this on my own. And being able to do it in a group setting as a coach, you're able to do things on a larger scale, help more people. Also, there's a lot of online courses being put out there too, being hosted by coaches, but you're going to see a lot more people, I think, becoming conscious that they need to make change, and they're going to seek that in the online space because the coaching industry it's exploding. Like it's in its beginning stages right now. Because even me, like last year, I was in a business group coach program, and there was 200 of us, and that was last year. Right? So it's like 200 new coaches last year. I mean, there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of new coaches, especially too, people in general are wanting to leave their 9 to 5 and do something of impact, because I was in my 9 to 5 job and I was like, I'm stressed out. I'm getting in trouble for speaking my truth and something that lights me up. And I was like, I can't be stuck in a job where I have to make myself smaller in order to fit the regulations of this company. I was like, what am I even doing? Like, what am I even doing in my 9 to 5? Like, I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
So people are just waking up to the fact that like, hey, I have to work 40 hours for, 40 somewhat years of my life. I want to do something that's impactful. I want to do something that lights me up. Whether that's the route of you joining another company that gives you the sense of freedom or you being on your own, being an entrepreneur, you're going to see a lot more, MLMs. You're going to see a lot more, entrepreneurs. You're going to see a lot more people coming together and creating companies. I think it's going to be good. Like society as a whole, when you look at it spiritually, is waking up to their own sense of consciousness. So people are like, oh, I need to better myself. I need self-help. I need self-healing. I want to heal my body, my mind, my soul. So I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, this is exciting. I love that because for me, I went traveling around the world, right? And I spent 3 months in India, and it was like fantastic experience. It was so cool. Yeah, so I got to go to the Taj Mahal and do some amazing things there, like Ayurveda retreat where I was meditating every day and doing yoga, and there was like a massage. Like it was insane. It was so good. And while I was there, I was reading The Power of Now and some of other books by Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
And I remember very clearly in the book, he was saying, this is the beginning of awareness. This is the awakening process of humanity. Like people were becoming more awake, and they're gonna have more power. They're gonna regain power. Because right now, people are still like zombies. Like they just get their phones and they're like scrolling. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like it sucks. So it's like they're just going through life and they have no idea what's happening. They just get influenced by everything they see, and they become a little bit of robots, like actually zombies. I think it's a better comparison. So where everything affects them, but not in a good way, and they can't control that. So I think becoming aware and being aware and doing the whole meditation and getting people to help you, like it's fascinating. It's amazing because if you go back to when our parents were born, imagine them like, oh, I'm gonna get a coach to help me, like, no way. Like, it would be like, what, you have problems, you know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
nowadays it's like, well, I'm a human. I
Mhm.
want to improve. I want to evolve. So it's
Mhm.
just a progression. Like, that's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? So I think it's fascinating, and I absolutely love it. It's pretty cool. So yeah, like I love your work, and I love what you're doing
Oh,
as well. Like,
thank
awareness is
you.
huge. So with the people that you work with, like, what sort of industries are they?
So I have one girl who she's younger, so she's 19. But she worked at like a she worked at a vet clinic. But the
Yeah.
one thing, like a common theme that I know I get amongst my clients is they're very creative. Like they're very creative women. They're very empathetic women. They're big-hearted women. They're people pleasers. They put themselves on the back burners. And another client, she's a teacher assistant, so she helps aid in like children who are autistic. And then another girl, she was a server in a restaurant, but she's taking psychology courses in school. So,
Yeah.
and the other girl, like the one that's a student who worked at a vet clinic, she too is interested, super highly interested in psychology, but as well as she's an artist. So it's like these women who have like this creative nature about them, but they have too much anxious energy to actually transform it into creative energy.
Yeah.
Which is like it's super interesting because they're very, very creative in that sense and have a big heart and want to give and want to impact. But they're just at this block right now of not believing that they can. But it's cool.
So with the anxiety, like, what's the root cause really, and does it change from a person that is 19 years old and a person that is older? Do you know?
I think it's the same thing. I think it's a combination of things, but it's really this deep-seated belief that you aren't enough. And because you don't believe that you're enough, you don't take care of yourself properly, you don't go after things that you want to in life, you put yourself on the back burner and you people please. Um, you say sorry a lot more often than you should. You don't feel seen, you don't feel heard, you don't speak your truth. So I think the root cause of anxiety really is like this deep-seated trauma of just like being like I'm not enough, and whether that meant you were bullied or you just had people be like, you didn't do a good job at this, or a huge thing is growing up as a child, you didn't get the love and the attention that you should have gotten. It may not have been that you were abused or anything like that, but say, for example, myself, like I grew up as my mom was a single mom. So, single mom trying to, raise two kids and work full time. I didn't get to see her as often as I did. So, I grew up as a kid feeling like, oh, I'm unloved, like I'm unlovable. So then that transmuted into my own anxiety growing up. And that's oftentimes what it is for other people experiencing anxiety. And then you have all these negative self-limiting beliefs that come in because you're like, I'm not enough. So why would I go after things that I want to in life? Why would I speak my truth? Like, I'm not worth being heard right now. And then you become and you create yourself to be so small. So it's all about creating awareness is huge, right? Because in anxiety, you're like, oh, I have all these thoughts and self-doubt and all this stuff, but you believe you don't have control. You believe that your thoughts are truth and you can't change them. So going in and being like, no, like I am in control. Like, I'm Jasmine simply experiencing anxiety, but Jasmine gets to choose how she thinks and how she feels, not anxiety. Anxiety is not the one running the show here. I am. And finding a way to come in tune with that and being like, okay, this is what Jasmine wants out of life. This is what Jasmine goes after in life. Like, this is how Jasmine shows up, and learning to separate yourself. Because so many people I speak to, they're like, oh, I'm anxiety, I'm stressed. And it's like my one client, I was like, tell me about yourself. And she's like, well, I'm anxious and I'm depressed. And I was like, no. I said, you simply are experiencing those things, but you as a whole is like, you're creative, like you're kind, you're smart, you're funny, right? So they get so clouded by this lens of not being enough and associating themselves with anxiety and depression that they lose complete sight of themselves. And that's another reason why, too, you're not going after things in life, because you're like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm capable of. How am I supposed to present myself to the world?
So what's the best way to be aware, as in, it's so easy to get caught with, those crazy thoughts and the ego, anxiety, all that stuff. So what's the best way? Because I mean, like, of course, it would be amazing to have you 24/7 around them, but that's not sustainable. So,
Yeah.
like, for someone that is going through that process, or even your clients itself, after they have the session and all that stuff, the time that you're not there with them, how they can make sure that they can control themselves and sort of like keep on track and be aware of what's happening and not associate themselves with the thoughts and the ego and all that stuff.
So I'll always give them like a new technique or an activity to do during that session. So like the one I did today with my client, it's like, okay, sit down, divide a piece of paper in half. One side, write out the list of beliefs that you're having right now. Don't provide any judgment to them, write them down. No matter how dark or how scary they are, I want you to write them down. And I want you to look at them after you're writing them down and realize, okay, these aren't my truth. What do I want to believe instead? So then on the other side of the paper, write out something that's the complete opposite, and that's a positive to that there. So now that you've created awareness on the thoughts that you're having, when this thought comes up, you're like, okay, no, I'm going to choose to believe this. So like you create that awareness by writing it down is really good, or voicing it to someone else and letting it out loud. Because if it's so stuck in your head, it's like a tangled ball of yarn, right? So by speaking it or writing it out, you get to untangle it. So you're able to see like, oh shit, like my clients, they tell me, they're like, this, I didn't even know that this was something that, I was holding on to or that I had as a belief. And then when it comes up, they're like, okay, I'm going to choose to believe this. And then when it's written down too, I tell them, I'm like, hey, this is your piece of paper. Have it near you, when you're at home, or maybe even write it out on your phone to have it in your notes. So when these thoughts come out, you're like, can look at your phone. You're like, okay, no, this isn't what I'm choosing to believe. These are my new thought patterns. Then the effort on your end has to come in to consciously be like, okay, I'm choosing something different. I'm going to say this and I'm going to confirm this to myself. But yeah, just a matter of journaling is super powerful, or even voice noting. I'll do voice notes in my phone if I don't want to write things out, or even just saying it out loud. Because it's like, all of a sudden, if you're sitting here and you're like, oh my God, I can't do this. Like, I'm stupid. Like, who am I to try this? When you say it in your head, it is so scary and so overwhelming. But as soon as you say it out loud, you're like, whoa, this sounds stupid to say to myself right now.
So true.
I'm not going to say this. And having out loud conversations, I call them spicy pep talks.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? It's fun, like having fun with it, right? And just
Yeah,
being like,
yeah.
I'm going to go hype myself up, or have conversations with yourself in the mirror and just being like, listen, I'm tired of you saying these kind of things. We're not going to think this way anymore. We're thinking differently.
I love
So,
it.
yeah. So it's like,
So
not
cool.
today. Yeah.
Yeah. Something that I actually do that I learned is to, let's say you just like really foggy and you've got like a million thoughts going through your head.
Mm-hmm.
You just go, all right, cool. Now I'm gonna pay attention and I'm gonna see the next thought that comes to my head, and you go, and then out of the sudden you can't actually think of anything. It's so good, right? Like, and there's just a
Mm-hmm.
pause, like, and that pause, like just bring you like to awareness, like straight away. Because from there you're gonna kind of be like, all right, what's gonna go next? Do you know what I mean? Because as soon
Mm-hmm.
as you go, well, this is not me, and they saying something, let's listen to it and see what it is, because it's never something good, right? Like,
No.
it's most of the time it's like bad stuff. So you go, all right, cool, let's listen to it. What are you gonna tell me now? And you go, you just kind of wait. So for me, that's my way to kind of bring me, to a safe place where I'm having fun and there's awareness and, yeah. So, all right, like we just wrapping up. Like, oh my God, like so much
Okay.
value that you shared. Like, I really enjoyed like having this amazing chat with you.
Thank you.
If I didn't have a coach, I would definitely hire you. Like, you're amazing.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
Oh, he's gonna
Thank
be
you.
jealous now. God damn it. And
When you're done,
yeah.
when you're done.
So, is there any final advice that you would like to share with the people that are watching?
Honestly, just I think becoming the, like you said, the observer of your thoughts is going to be the most powerful thing that you can do, because you want to sit here, ramble, and you can just sit here and presence yourself. So like deep breathes, you can get yourself into your body, because when we're overthinking, we're stuck in our head. So you're actually like energetically clocked out of your body. So finding your breath, finding a way to ground yourself into your body and to just observe your thoughts, you can sit there and be like, oh shit, okay, this doesn't serve me. I got to choose something different. And I get to choose something different because, like you said, people who aren't awake, they're mindlessly thinking all these thoughts all the time. And no wonder shitty things happen to them, because universally, your thoughts are energy. And when you're on low vibe thing and you're thinking about all the things you don't want, the universe reflects that back to you. So it's like getting on a wavelength where you're like, hey, you know what? Like, I can do this. Like, I can go after things that I want in life. This is what I want after life, and get yourself feeling good. Then you start to attract good things in your life, and you start to just feel more in tune with your own power.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. One more thing.
Yeah.
You've got this amazing ground meditation that you're going to be sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to talk a little bit about that and how people can get access to it?
Yes. So the grounding meditation that I have, like I said, it's really important to ground yourself back into your body. So during this meditation, it's quick, it's nice and easy. A quick little 5-minute meditation allows you to actually completely relax and melt into your body, but then just actually get that grounding energy of the earth. So you feel more calm, you feel more clear-minded, and you're able to take, being up in the clouds and bringing yourself back down to earth. So you're able to make, better decisions, and you're able to just feel good and choose from a grounded state rather than choose from an anxious state. So you can just DM me on Facebook, Jasmine Pugh. She has listed there, and I will send it your way.
Cool. Jasmine, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here. I had so much fun talking to you. That's been an amazing chat. And yeah, I'm looking forward to, being in contact, stay in touch with you and go from there. Cool. So you can go just like best of luck with everything. And yeah, once again, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.